Navita Tavani Jagamanaloba. Nikate Advaita Srini Vasachatradara Boisi Ashe Gorachan Bame Radna Simhasane Boisi Ashe Gorachan Radna Simhasane Arati Korin Brahma Adideva Gane Arati Korin Brahma Adideva Gane Nara Hari Hari Kori Chamaradulaya Nara Hari Hari Kori Chamaradulaya Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Roshadhigaya Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Roshadhigaya Shankar Baje Ganta Baje Baje Karatala Shankar Baje Ganta Baje Baje Karatala Madhura Mridanga Baje Paramarasala Madhura Mridanga Baje Paramarasala Bahu Koti Chandrajini Vadanahu Jwala Bahu Koti Chandrajini Vadanahu Jwala Gala Deshe Banamala Kore Jalamala Gala Deshe Banamala Kore Jalamala Bhakati Shiva Shukanarada Preme Gada Gada Shiva Shukanarada Preme Gada Gada Bhakati Vinoda Deke Gorada Sampada Bhakati Vinoda Deke Gorada Sampada Gorange Harotika Shobhai Jaga Janamana Loba Gorange Harotika Shobhai Jaga Janamana Loba Shanga Baje Ganda Baje Madhur 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 Baje Shanga Baje Ganda Baje Madhur 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 Baje Namahom Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Neveshesha Shunyavadi Vashatyade Shatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishnu Pada, Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashutata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnu Pada, Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashutata Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki. Yamuna Mai Ki, Ganga Mai Ki, Vrindavan Dham Ki, Mathura Dham Ki, Navadvip Dham Ki, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Tulasi Devi Ki, Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga.
Pralada lada daine Hiranyakashi Purvaksha Shilatangana Kalaye Ito Nrasingha Parato Nrasingho Yato Yato Yami Tato Nrasingha Bahi Nrasingho Hridaye Nrasingho Nrasingamadim Sharanam Prapade Tava Karakamalavare Nakamadbhuta Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipur Thanu Bringa Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Karakamalavare Nakamabhuta Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringa Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Lord Nrsimhadev ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai.
Advaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindan Vaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kapatarupaschya Vatsudhya Hevacha Didanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, also known as Gita Upanishad, the essence of Vedic knowledge. Where are we going to be reading from tonight? Chapter 4, text 39. Chapter is named Transcendental Knowledge. Okay. Starting from text 39, right? Shraddha varlavate jnanam tatpara samyatindriyaha jnanam labdva param shantim acharhinadikachati. Translation: a faithful man who is absorbed in transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. Text 40. Agyascha sradadhanascha samsyatma vinashyati nayam lokostinha paro nasukam samshayatmanaha. Translation: but ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. For the doubting soul there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Text 41. Yoga sanyasta karmanam jnana sanchina samshayam atmapantam na karmani nipadnanti dhananjaya. Translation: therefore one who has renounced the fruits of his actions, whose doubts are destroyed by transcendental knowledge, and who is situated firmly in the self, is not bound by works, O conqueror of riches. Text 42. Tasmad jnana sambhutam hritstam jnana sinatmanaha chitvainam samshayam yogam atishto tishtabharata. Translation: therefore the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bard, stand and fight. Moving to chapter 5, entitled Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. Text 43. So. Alright. Text 1. Arjuna uvacha sanyasam karmanam Krishna punhar yogam trasamshasi shamsasi yatshreya hetayor hekam tanme bruhi sunishchitam. Translation. Arjuna said, O Krishna, first of all you ask me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial? Text 2. Shri Bhagavan uvacha sannyasa karma yogascha nishrayasa kadhavubhau tayostu karma sannyasat karma yogo vashishyate. Translation. The Blessed Lord said, the renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation, but of the two, work in devotional service is better than the renunciation of works. Better than renunciation of works. Text 3. Gyeya sa nitya sannyasi yo na dveshti na kangshati nirdvando hi mahabaho Sukham bandhat pramuchyate. Translation. One who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always renounced. Such a person, liberated from all dualities, easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated. O mighty armed Arjuna. Text 4. Sankhya yoga pratak bala pravandanti napanditaha ekam hapyastita samyak ubayor vindate palam. Translation. Only the ignorant speak of karma yoga and devotional service as being different from the analytical study of the material world, Sankhya. Those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the results of both. Text 5. Yat sankhyaye prapyate sthanam tad yogairha pigamyate ekam sankhyam cha yogam cha yapashyati sapashyati. Translation. One who knows that the position reached by means of renunciation can also be attained by works in devotional service, and who therefore sees that the path of works and the path of renunciation are one, sees things as they are. Okay, going back now to chapter 4, text 39. Or how many is that? To 8. 41, 42, 43. Okay, we'll do 7. There's 43 texts in chapter 4, I think. That's so. Yeah. So we go to 6, right? Okay. We'll do one more. Sannyasastu mahabaho dukam haptum ayogataha yoga yukto munir brahma nachiranhadikachati. Translation. Unless one is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, mere renunciation of activities cannot make one happy. The sages, purified by works of devotion, Achieve the supreme without delay. Okay, we'll go back to text 4, chapter 4, text 39 now. All right. Donovan Maharaj, if you'd like to speak, please raise your hand and we'd be very eager to listen. So we'll read the translation now and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. A faithful man who is absorbed in transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. Purport. Such knowledge in Krishna consciousness can be achieved by a faithful person who believes firmly in Krishna. One is called a faithful man who thinks that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness, he can attain the highest perfection. This faith is attained by the discharge of devotional service and by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, which cleanses one's heart of all material dirt. Over and above this, one should control the senses. A person who is faithful to Krishna and who controls the senses can easily attain perfection in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay. Really short, succinct purport here, but really great in that it's telling us a lot about the faithful man and how that faith is attained, which we hear is by the discharge of devotional service. From that devotional service, which is causeless, faith is established and then carefully cultivated as one protects against invaders that can obstruct one on the path of development in their Krishna consciousness. We should take great care to avoid such occurrences that slow the process down. There's no reason why the process needs to be delayed. This faith in the beginnings, it's very delicate and like a small plant that's just sprouted out of the ground. Even the smallest trouble and disturbance can greatly affect the rate at which it grows, or it just about anything can come and rip that plant out of the ground. So this is like I like to where our faith is at in its fragile state of just coming to Krishna consciousness. And we can be in Krishna consciousness for multiple years and still, relatively speaking, be, very much prone to such dangers of, letting our bhakti creeper become uprooted or halted in its growth. But if we stick around devotees, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur prays, that he never leaves the association of devotees, and he always has this sadhu sangha. This sadhu sangha is what can nourish one through the different stages of devotional service, which start with faith, a little bit of appreciation that one has for the devotees, something he might intentionally display or maybe even unintentionally display. That's still to his credit. If he appreciates the devotees, then he's on his way in devotional service. And as I mentioned, devotional service being causeless, what that means is that it really is only given way by devotional service comes devotional service. So there's nothing we did to become so fortunate, but rather it was the causeless mercy that fell on us, was given to us, a little bit of attention by a devotee of the Lord, who we happened to come in contact with and who they took the time to turn us on, to devotional service. So chanting this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the essence of all religion. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that as well in one of his songs. And we say, no matter what name of God you know, chant it, and little by little, you too can watch your heart become purified of all material dirt, either in this life or the next, or corresponding to the seriousness to which you take up the process, the results will follow in turn. And I'm to understand that there are primary names of God and secondary names of God, right? Is that? I don't know so much about it, so I probably shouldn't go too deep into it, but apparently, from what I've heard, is that we should find great appreciation for knowing God's primary names, because they work like fire against the conditioned soul to burn him free of such impurities in the ways that the secondary names can't. So there's one God. This title God is a position, and we know the holder of this position by different names according to the different time, place, and circumstances that we're brought up in. We make different approaches to God. If we're at all intelligence, then we acknowledge the existence of God and know him by different names, given our culture, the family that we're brought up in, whatever knowledge is imparted onto us as we grow up through our life. But so many people say, well, how can you believe that? How can you say that the name Krishna is speaking to the same person as the name Jehovah or Buddha or Rama or so many other names of God? He has unlimited names. But we say that in the same way that one person can be known in so many different capacities. You have one man, and this man is a father, and therefore his child approaches him in that way, as a son does. The same man is also a husband to a wife, and therefore she calls him by certain terms of endearment, and knows him in certain ways that is not privy to the child. And also that man has a friend, and that friend might call him by certain nicknames that no one else even knows about, due to certain inside jokes, experiences that they shared personally, intimately, in their own way. So this is one man who is known by so many different people. And very similarly, we can understand God to be in the same, these different religions describing different attributes of God. We can see them not as some contradictory evidence that that there's no conclusive evidence that all of this is talking about the same person, but we can understand that everyone has more or less progress on the path of understanding God in his fullest degree, and in his fullest, in the last word of transcendence, which is a very personal conception of the Lord as Bhagavan, the possessor of great opulence, of all opulence. So they know God to more or lesser degrees, and we should understand that which we're reading from now is propagating the highest, furthest knowledge of God that one can go, that one can take upon themselves to learn. And we should be very thankful for this. And these next few verses, they talk a lot about faith, about knowledge, what that knowledge really is, and about the effects of devotional service that are there on the conditioned soul. So as we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we're cleansed of all material dirt. Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Bhavamaha Devagni Nirvapanam. It's the Sankirtan movement. Lord Chaitanya, he writes in the Shikshastakam, all glories to the Sankirtan movement, which cleanses the heart of all dust accumulated and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, which causes birth and death. It is the supreme benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon, and it enables us to taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. So this is the beginning of our Krishna conscious life, chanting this Maha Mantra. But very interestingly, it's also the end, or we don't really have an end to this process of devotional service. But what I'm saying is, chanting the Maha Mantra is so perfect in itself that there's nothing else to attain beyond that. So it's necessary to become perfected, but it's also a symptom of one who already is perfected, is that they're constantly chanting the glories of the holy name. Satatam kirtiyanto mam. Great souls, always chanting the Lord's name, bowing down before him, worshiping him in that way. We should follow these wonderful personalities. And we should move on to the next text. Both are but ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures, do not attain God. But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Purport. Out of many standard and authoritative revealed scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita is the best. Persons who are almost like animals have no faith in or knowledge of the standard revealed scriptures, and some, even though they have knowledge of or can recite passages from the revealed scriptures, have actually no faith in these words. And even though others may have faith in scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, they do not believe in or worship the Supreme Person, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Such persons cannot have any standing in Krishna consciousness. I was hearing from Prabhupada today in a conversation that his contemporary whom he was speaking with was talking about they either don't believe that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they don't see any value at all in undergoing such study in his life, in his teachings, or they think that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, was not a real person, but that his pastimes, his words, all of this is valuable. And that so he might not be real, but there's still something here to this knowledge that should be regarded as special and, undergone. One should undergo learning still in such areas. Prabhupada says that both men are mudhas, fools, murka, dosha is another word he used, right? They're full of faults. And this is because though one of them is recognizing a little bit of value in the pastimes, in the personality that's denoted about Lord Sri Krishna, in the teachings that he gives in the form of Bhagavad Gita, and that his devotees give of Srimad Bhagavatam. Although they see a little bit of value, they're still completely wrong in the sense that they don't understand that Krishna actually is real, and therefore they don't have access either to these scriptures like the ones who actually have faith do. So the faith that we have makes all the difference in the world and what comes back to us. And there's a verse that's coming up quite often as we make our way through the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 21 of Canto 3. And it's been referenced directly and indirectly a few times now. It's Yeyata mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham mama vartmani vartante manusha partha sarvashaha. And it's that the verse that says, as they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. O Partha, all men follow my path in all respects. So the fervor which we approach the Supreme Lord to know him, to deepen our devotion to him, just for the sake of loving service, to that degree he reciprocates with us. So the devotee cares so deeply about Krishna's desires that he's willing to do anything to fulfill them. And so does Krishna care so much about the desires of his devotees that he also reciprocates in that way. So to the degree that we can find faith in that, that faith soon becomes realization, when in turn, Lord Krishna reciprocates with us. We begin to perceive him everywhere we look. In our whole life, he becomes manifest in very obvious ways. But it starts with us taking a step towards him. And it's often said that you take one step towards Krishna, and he's so merciful that he'll take many more towards us. But these people who have no faith in the scriptures, we hear what becomes of them later on in this section which we're reading, but also in chapter 16, right, or something. It says, Ye shastra, ya shastra vidamutsrija vartate kamakarataha nasa siddhim avapnoti. Avapnoti means they attain, nasa siddhim, they attain neither perfection, na sukham, nor happiness, na param gatim, nor the supreme destination. For one who has no faith in the scriptures, who is simply just accepting and rejecting what they say whimsically according to his own lust, it's that kind of man who attains, like this verse says, neither happiness in this world nor in the next. Right? It says in the translation, for the doubting soul there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Nayam lokos tinhaparo nasukam samshayat manaha. Ashradhadana. Without faith in revealed scriptures. Continuing the purport, it says, such persons cannot have any standing in Krishna consciousness. They fall down. Out of all the above mentioned persons, those who have no faith and are always doubtful make no progress at all. Men without faith in God and his revealed word find no good in this world nor in the next. For them there is no happiness whatsoever. One should therefore follow the principles of revealed scriptures with faith and thereby be raised to the platform of knowledge. Only this knowledge will help one become promoted to the transcendental platform of spiritual understanding. In other words, doubtful persons have no status whatsoever in spiritual emancipation. One should therefore follow in the footsteps of great acharyas who are in disciplic succession and thereby attain success. Prabhupada is, that last sentence there, it imprints upon me the importance of association, and who we hear from is paramount in the cultivation of our spiritual practice. It starts with Shravanam, Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Padasevanam, Vandanam Archanam Dasyam, Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. Iti Pumsar Pita Vishnu, Bhaktischin Avalakshana, Kriyeta Bhagavatyada, Tanmane Ditamutamam. One who has given his whole life to Krishna in service to him, in understanding that there's really no other way for happiness. This is the most learned man. This is a man worth following, and this just so happens to be the kind of person that our disciplic succession is full of. We have so many wonderful personalities that we can become inspired from and hear from. And as we hear from anyone at all, whether it's some mundane source or a spiritual source, we create relationships, or we nourish, we give fuel to the fire that's contained within that relationship. We're cultivating something as we're hearing, as we're submissively hearing, really wanting to understand something from someone brings us closer to that person. Like very recently in chapter 4, it was just said in text 34, Tad vidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. That the tattvadarshis, the ones who have seen the truth, can bestow that truth. Right? So this is the whole purpose of accepting a spiritual master, is that they have walked the path and they have attained success. So to follow their footsteps will lead us also to safety. Do that through submissive hearing and through the rendering service to such great souls. But alternatively, if we decide to hear from other people, or if we're reluctant to accept authority, or we take to the process with great hesitation, then we really miss a huge opportunity that we have here to slowly but surely purify our heart and to come closer to that happiness. And this is what we crave, is peace and happiness, and this is only established through conviction in the scriptures and reestablishment as a servant to the Lord. This is our constitutional position that we've strayed so far from. That's not in our current realization of who we are. We have so many other conceptions about who we are, but actually these must be thrown off, shrugged away, and we must just. What does it mean to? There's a phrase that I've been trying to put words to. It means to like to suspend your disbelief. Is that what it is? Yeah, suspension of disbelief. So this is. Oh, you said what? Yeah, like when you watch a movie, there has to be some amount of suspension of disbelief for you to really get absorbed into it, right? That's the principle. Is that I have to set down what I'm doing right now in my current life and enter into this new world, at least for the time it takes me to watch this film, for me to experience what it's trying to offer. Similarly, in Krishna consciousness, we can start our journey of faith in that way, as a very kind of theoretical, we enter into it with theory, but then that theory is ultimately proven true But we actually have to do the thing, do the process of devotional service as it's coming down from the line of disciplic succession. We suspend our disbelief. Yeah, this sounds crazy that God came 5,000 years ago to speak this conversation, happen on a battlefield that, can neither be really confirmed nor denied, kind of suspicious. But really, if you think about it, what makes it so crazy? The idea that God came down 5,000 years ago with a desire to bring knowledge to the world and to save the devotees and to annihilate those who are unrighteous, right, or adharmic. And the only thing that makes that statement crazy is my previous conditioning that I've had in this life, in my current society, which is so greatly flawed, due to the information that I've taken in through such imperfect senses. All of these things make for us Westerners, it makes accepting Krishna as 100%, as he is portrayed in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, our imperfect senses, our societal upbringing, different pressures that are on, that are on us in a material way, push us to reject something that actually makes total sense if you really look at it from a higher view. And that's what these books are doing. They're lifting us up out of the foggy state of conditional life, and they're giving us view from a higher platform. So if we can suspend our disbelief long enough, then eventually, and maybe even very quickly, the whole of devotional service will take effect and we'll become purified very, very quickly. Or at least we can pray that we do. And if that's really our desire, then Krishna, he will reciprocate in that way. Ye yatamam prapadyante, as they surrender unto me, I reward accordingly. Did we finish this purport here? We did? Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Translation: Therefore, one who has renounced the fruits of his actions, whose doubts are destroyed by transcendental knowledge, and who is situated firmly in the self, is not bound by works, O conqueror of riches. This reminds me of also something that was in chapter 4, text 10, Vitaraga Bhayakrodha Manmaya Mamopashitaha Bahavo Jnana Tapasa Bhutamad Bhavamagataha. We can flip to that verse real quick. And this whole chapter is really just verse 410. It says, being freed from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge of me, many, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attained transcendental love for me. So we hear, get back to it here, that our doubts are what destroys, our doubts are destroyed by transcendental knowledge. And this is through the renunciation of the fruits of our actions. And how do we come to renounce the fruits of our actions is stated in 11th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, that says, simply by hearing the oral narrations of Lord Ramachandra. In this case, this was Lord Ramachandra spoken about in 11th canto. One is quickly purified. One is freed from the bondage of a fruit of works. And by such hearing, they destroy the disease of envy. So this is the potency of hearing from the proper source, is that this disease of envy, of actually which all of our struggle comes from, that's destroyed. and with it, our bondage to these fruits of our actions that we try like anything to enjoy, but are always disturbed by, either when their temporary pleasure leaves us or by the lack of attainment of such pleasure from that action in the first place. We're trying to enjoy the fruits of our actions, then it's really only a matter of time. We're just welcoming the suffering right into our life. But there's actually something already within us that's already complete, it's already whole, and this is who we really are. This is the self. To be situated firmly in the self is what's being talked about in this verse. And therefore, rising above the modes of material nature altogether. Right? Like Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Nashochati Nakangshati Samasarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. Equally disposed to every living entity, you have no more lamentation, no more desires. This is interesting. That means no more material desires, which is exactly what brings about lamentation. But one who is transcendently situated, he's beyond that. He's obtained devotion. Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. Labate means to gain. You gain back what's rightfully yours, the only thing that really is yours to begin with. And this is your eternal relationship with Lord Sri Krishna. Let's jump into the purport of text 41. One who follows the instructions of the Gita as it is imparted by the Lord, the personality of Godhead himself, becomes free from all doubts by the grace of transcendental knowledge. He, as a part and parcel of the Lord in full Krishna consciousness, is already established in self-knowledge. As such, he is undoubtedly above bondage to action. This is interesting. He is undoubtedly above bondage to action. So Krishna, we can understand, is non-different from his pastime, from his name, from his form, his associates even. Therefore, this verse that I was referencing from 11th canto, Purusham Ramacharitam Shravanar Upadarayan Anarsam Shah Parorajan Karma Bandar Vimuchyate. Karma Bandar Vimuchyate. That karma, the bondage to your fruit of works, is destroyed just by hearing about Krishna, because that's the potency. It's non-different. There's no difference between the name and the named, right? Benatvam namanamanaho. Yeah. Namachintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigrahaha Purusho Abhinatvam Namanamanaho. There's no difference between the named and the holder of that name, the possessor of that name. And it says, as it is imparted by the Lord, the personality of God himself, one who follows these instructions directly coming from the Lord. It's the ultimate fast track to attaining such a transcendental platform. Okay, text 42. Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharat, stand and fight. Long purport here. We're pretty much at the end of class. I don't think we'll be able to finish this purport, but if anyone would like to make a comment or a question, now's a suitable time. No worries. Maybe we can just very briefly cover what she... Not really. I'd like to hear what you wanted to say.
When we read this previous text 40, text 40, in the purport, it says that by following with faith, if we follow the scriptures with faith, then we get knowledge. And from knowledge, it says, it's the only way, or rather, only this knowledge will help one become promoted to the transcendental platform of spiritual understanding. So there's a difference between knowledge and spiritual understanding. And knowledge is preliminary, but the only way to get knowledge is to follow the principles of revealed scriptures with faith. Right? So then I thought, okay, then you mentioned the 410, and in that verse, Krishna says personally that those who have taken full shelter of him, they're fully absorbed in him, right? Then they became purified by knowledge of him, right? That's how it said. So the same point is there. I like the connection there that you made. And by knowledge of me. So when we have taken shelter, full shelter, and we're fully absorbed in Krishna, then that knowledge about him acts in a very potent way. And then we get transcendental love for him, which is the goal of the human life, not any other thing. Anyway, I thought I wanted to add that.
That's nice. Yeah, that's really nice. I have a question for you. I can ask later on my own time. I'll do that. But yeah, your statement is very nice and brings to me some curiosities. So we'll stop there. I thank you guys for hearing and tolerating me. As we read Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada, Ki Jai. All glories to the simple devotees. Hare Krishna.